Hello, it's another week. And this week we're going to be looking for the market analysis for this week, which has already been started on the 5th of January of August, and we're going to end on the 9th of August. For the first pair, which is AUD Chief, for AUD Chief, you're going to be looking on this pair on the bearish direction. Let us go to daily time frame or weekly so that you can see the target. We're going to be looking for a bearish direction on this pair, and the reason behind is because the market has already breached out this trend line, so we're expecting to see a pullback, then move down toward the targeted area. Where do we get our entry? Let us move to H4 time frame. Our entry point it will be after you get a pullback toward this area is when we get our entry toward our targeted area. This is AUD Chief and this is H4 time frame. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on is AUD CAD. On AUD CAD, we're going to be looking for a bearish direction, and when you go back to weekly, so that you can see first the target, our targeted area. We are targeting this area because we are moving on a channel. Where do we get our entry? When we move back to H4, we'll be looking for a good entry confirmation at this support area or resistance area at this area. If we get a good pullback, then we get our entry toward our targeted area. This is AUD CAD and this is H4 time frame. Another pair which you're going to be focusing is AUD NZ. For AUD NZ, for the coming week, you're going to be for this week, you're going to be waiting for it to make a pullback toward this trend line. Or if we miss that entry, wait for a break and a good retest at this area is when we get our entry toward our targeted area. Where is our targeted area? Let's just go to the bigger time frame. I think in daily. Yeah, in daily we can see that we are targeting for the market to move toward this targeted area. This is AUD NZ and this is daily time frame. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on is AUD USD. For AUD USD, we're going to be looking for a bearish direction. The reason behind is because there is a breach out of this support or resistance. So we wait for a good pullback, then we drive it down. Where are we expecting to go? We are expecting for it to continue dropping down because the market is moving within a channel. Within this channel here. Where do we get our entry? Let's go to H4. After we get a good pullback toward this area is when we look for entry toward the targeted point. This is AUD USD and this is H4 time frame. Another pair which you're going to be focusing is NZD. For NZD, this time we're going to be looking for a bullish direction. The reason behind for us to be looking for a bullish direction is because we have a wedge pattern formation. On this wedge pattern formation, we're going to be looking for a bullish direction. So where do we get our entry after clear breakout? After clear breakout and the retest of this trend line is when we drive it up. The reason behind for it to go up is because of the wedge formation, and also we are anticipating there is a formation of this as the first shoulder, or this is the second shoulder. That means they are going to be forming double bottoms. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on for the coming week, apart from NZD card, is NZD Chief. And for NZD Chief, you're going to be looking for a bearish direction. When you go back to daily, we can see that we are anticipating that price has already breached out this trend and has already breached out this support resistance. So it will make a retest and go back toward this targeted area. This is NZD Chief and this is daily time frame. Where do we get our entry? Our good entry will be after a clear breakout and retest of this support or resistance. This is NZD Chief and this is H4 time frame. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on is NZD USD. For NZD USD, we're going to be having a bullish direction. The reason behind is because of this wedge pattern formation, which can be clearly observed. So where do we get our entry? We'll be waiting after a break and retest of this support or resistance because it will be completing a head and shoulder pattern. So from there we get our entry toward this targeted area. This is AUD USD and this is H4 time frame. And another reason is because it has reached to a certain point where there is this trend line, which is an uptrend in daily. It passes here. It's an uptrend. Yeah. So we're anticipating it to continue moving up. Another pair which you're going to be looking at apart from NZD USD is USD card. For USD card, we're going to be looking for a bearish direction. The reason behind is because the price has reached to a certain support or resistance, which is very strong. So we're anticipating that price will start to drop from now on. And our targeted area is this area. Where do we get our entry? We'll go back to H4. We will be looking for entry at this area. If you miss that entry, wait for a clear breakout of this trend line and retest, then you drive it down. So this will be a second entry. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on apart from USD card, it's USD chafe. For USD chafe, you're going to be looking for a bearish direction. The reason behind is because the price has reached to a specific support or resistance. So we are expecting that price will continue dropping, but it has to make a little pullback, and this pullback going to be a retest on this trend line. When we get our entry, we drive it down. If we miss that entry, we're going to look for another entry at this area. Where do we target for our movement? When we move to daily time frame, we are targeting this zone here. So this support or resistance will be breached out, and because there is an uptrend, so it will be breaching out a support or resistance and a trend. So it's when we get a retest and we continue moving down. This is USD chafe and this is daily time frame. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on is USD NOK. On USD NOK, we're going to be having a bearish direction, though there is like a breach out of this rectangle at the top, so we are anticipating that price will make a pullback toward this area, then from there it will continue moving up. So in order to touch this an uptrend, so for the coming week we're going to be waiting for the market to reach this top here. Therefore there look for selling opportunity toward that target. This is USD NOK and this is daily time frame. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on apart from USD NOK is GBP AUD. For GBP AUD, because it has reached to a trend line, which is an uptrend, so we are expecting to see an upward move. When you go back to H4 time frame, we can clearly observe a head and shoulder, a double bottoms. We can clearly observe a double bottoms pattern, which this is the first bottom, this is the second bottom. So we are waiting for a good retest, then the market will drive it toward that target area. Where do we get our entry? Our entry going to be on this area, and if we miss that entry, we wait for a good retest at this support or resistance so that you can meet that target there. This is GBP AUD, this is H4 time frame. Another pair is GBP card. On GBP card, we're going to be having a bearish direction, but this bearish direction going to be having a temporary up move. Then from there, this area is when we're going to be having a bearish direction. But we'll be targeting this area, then focusing for the coming week either to buy it or to sell it. But for this week, we'll sell it toward that targeted area. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on apart from GBP card, is GBP chafe. For GBP chafe, we're going to be looking for a bearish direction. The reason behind for us to be looking for a bearish direction on GBP chafe is because there is a breach out of this support or resistance. So we are waiting for a good retest at this area. Therefore, there we will continue moving down. Where do we targeting to move with this pair? When we go back to weekly, we are targeting for it to continue moving toward this area here down. This area down there, so it's where we are targeting to move. This is GBP chafe and this is weekly time frame. Another pair is GBP NZ. For GBP NZ, as you can see, it has already breached out. It didn't breach out this uptrend here, so we are anticipating for it to continue moving up. Let us go to the H4 time frame. On H4 time frame, we can see the market has tried to keep itself or to give itself a double bottoms. So we're anticipating that price will break and retest and continue moving up toward that targeted area. This is GBP, and for the coming week, we're going to be looking for a bullish direction. And this is H4 time frame. Another pair and the last pair, and another pair is a GBP USD. For GBP USD, we're going to be having for a temporary down move. Then from there, at this level, we're going to push up toward this targeted area. When you go back to daily, we can see the reason. When you go back to weekly, I think, it's weekly. you can see the clear double bottoms pattern formation. So we are expecting to see price continue moving up. This is GBP USD, and this is weekly time frame. Another pair which you're going to be focusing on is USD TRY, and this is the last pair. USD TRY, when you go back to H4, we can see a clear breakout of this trend line and a good retest. So we are waiting for another retest at this level so that you can sell this pair toward our targeted area, which can be observed in daily time frame. Our targeted area, it's this one. So we are expecting that price will drop toward this area. So for those who need account management training and mentorship, the seats are still available. And if you didn't subscribe to our channel, subscribe and switch on post notifications so that you can be alerted whenever we are posting these videos. And also, don't forget to join our Telegram channel. Happy paper chasing week traders.